Again, just to reacquaint you with the different worlds of these players and their backgrounds, and Ernie Els' great success, and not just in the PGA Tour, but so dominant and strong worldwide. Like South African Gary Player, Ernie probably plays as global a schedule as anyone in the game. Todd Hamilton's 4 years older. His experience is the Asian Tour and the Japanese Tour, where he plied his trade for a decade and a half, finally earning his way onto the PGA Tour through qualifying school tour rookie, and got a win in the third month of his PGA Tour rookie season, winning the Honda. And here he is in the playoff of the Open Championship.
Well, we saw this one early in the day. It will definitely just going to break left to right just a little bit more than what you think. Yeah, kind of predictable, that one.
So that's a 4 for Hamilton.
Ernie will have a pretty straightish run at it. Obviously, he will read something into it, a little bit on one of the edges. I'm not quite sure from here. Maybe a little right edge.
With that final round 68 that Ernie shot, he becomes another man to shoot 60 in all 4 rounds of the Open Championship. It's happened 5 times before, and he did it once. But when he did it, he's actually the first to technically do it, because he did it in '93.
Wow.
But Nick Price ended up winning, or Greg Norman ended up winning the championship that year and finished right after him. There you see 4 rounds in the 60s again, and he hopes this time those 4 rounds in the 60s include the victory.
That's pretty impressive, isn't it? In the history of the British Open, and he holds 2 of them.
For birdie to take a 1-shot lead here in this 4-hole cumulative playoff.
Doesn't.
So a 2-putt par for both players at the first. As they did this morning, they both make 4, and we'll move on to the next par 4, just a little longer. Par 4, 391 yards. And Terry Gannon and Hal Sutton will take you through the second.
All right, Mike, thank you very much. You take a look at this second hole, 391 yards, bunkers out left and right from about 251 to 278. The FedEx reliability zone, right in that area there. If you leave it short, but of course, it's about 340 to that trio of bunkers there, Hal, about 50 yards shy of the green.
Well, if you think back to when they played the second hole before, Todd Hamilton laid the ball back with an iron, and Ernie drove it up right behind the bunkers. We'll see what they do here. Maybe
a difference in strategy here. Earlier today at the second hole, Ernie Els with a par 4, but Todd Hamilton with a bogey 5.
You know, if I were Todd Hamilton, I'd have to feel like I got a reprieve right there, because Ernie had a very makeable birdie opportunity right there. He stuck to, Todd Hamilton stuck to his game plan all day long.
Good rhythm.
It looks like he is going to branch away from his game plan.
Good play?
Well, he had a lot more wind before. He was playing the whole field at that time. He's playing Ernie Els now. He's there and we're not. I suspect he knows what he's doing.
Heard his caddy say, good rhythm now. Saw his wife Jackie watching from just to the left-hand side of this tee. They like it.
That's always a really good sound to me when the crowd starts clapping, although,
hold on,
that may not be as good as they think.
In the wispy stuff, and it's kind of spotty, that rough. You can get a good lie, or might be awfully tough. We'll see.
One good thing is the pin is back right, if you remember from earlier.
Now Ernie. Asking for it to draw, and it does basically once it hits the ground. So just off the fairway right side. Todd Hamilton to the left side in the tall stuff as they play number 2, the second hole of the 4-hole playoff here at the 133rd Open Championship.
One thing I really like about what Todd Hamilton has done, he's kept the same strategy all day long. It's taken him the same amount of seconds to play each shot unless he had a tough shot, and he took a little bit longer rather than rushed it. Let's see what he does here.
Just a little 3/4 sand wedge. Oh, he really played well from that lie.
What a great shot. Got right to the edge of the little tier there.
He's played what he has called ugly golf all week here, and he has enjoyed every minute of it. Ernie set to go.
Ernie 104 yards, and I really don't think he has a play right at the hole. Very difficult if he goes right at the hole to stop this ball and even to get it in that position. He'll look for hole high somewhere just to the left.
Come down.
Or he'll go just almost right at it.
Never say never with Ernie.
Both players safely on the second green, second hole of a 4-hole playoff here at the British Open. Both players on in 2 here at the second hole, the par 4. Now Ernie from the back of the green for birdie.
I think it's probably going to break a little bit left or right here. You know, you're kind of caught in between. You want to make a good pass at it and make the putt, but you sure don't want to give yourself a 3 or 4 footer. It's a good putt. Just didn't quite bar enough.
So the tap in for Ernie. That will be another par here at the second hole. Advantage Hamilton now, perhaps.
Well, yeah, each time you know that he's finished one hole, you know, and you've got a chance to crack the birdie barrier here.
Roll Todd!
Get there, ball. You know, I hope they're not waiting to the 18th hole to make their point here. Looks like both of them are kind of lagging around here right now.
Measures 228 yards. This is a 4-iron, and the breeze is even lighter than it was 45 minutes ago or so. A beautiful looking shot.
Another solid iron shot, short of the green, chases in the middle. He's done beautifully, managing to get the ball close to pin high all day.
Beautiful shot there with a long iron. Not an easy shot there. It's a plateaued green, and the front of the green sits away from you. So can't land it too far short. It kicks hard right. You miss it left, it's dead.
So will Ernie go with the same shot? Will he try and fade it in? Well, now the breeze has gone softer. He might better draw it in, but we shall see.
The wait for that plane to go over, that's for sure. Part of the experience here at Royal Troon, Prestwick Airport, just a couple of miles away, where the original Open Championship was played. The old Prestwick course, 12 holes.
Ernie's wife Liesl on the right side of the ropes over here all by herself. His biggest fan. This is another 4-iron. Down the left side again, and this one will not come back.
That.
And that will be a very difficult shot for Ernie Els. A tough up and down. And we will return with more final round coverage of the 133rd Open Championship after this message and a word from our ABC stations. Back with Ernie Els' second shot. Little back foot bump into that bank. Landed in the brown stuff.
Just clears the edge.
Very nicely played. From that position, don't you think? Get it inside 10 feet.
Well, I agree. Yeah, you've got two options there. You can come back to your feet, or you just get over aggressive and you knock it 30 feet past. So to actually get relatively the right weight is pretty darn difficult under these circumstances.
He'll be inside the shot of Todd Hamilton, so he'll putt first. Brilliant 4-iron there into the middle of the green. He's played the one shape all day, the one shot. He's gone with that left to right breeze beautifully on these homeward 6 holes. And just got a little overcautious from the tee at 18 before to miss the bunkers up the left side and found the right rough. But the rest of his shots have been beautiful, well played, solid.
Actually closer than we thought. It's probably about, 15, 18 feet. That's seriously a great opportunity. Well, again, we get to that situation, the 2-shot swing.
Yeah,
wow, he makes
exactly.
this. He could be, he knows that. He really knows that.
Little tentative.
Yeah, it's starting to, the butterflies, the nerves, the whole thing is hard work now.
Try and get the tension out of the shoulders and
keeping
relax
that,
a little.
just keeping that all working smoothly is difficult. Ernie under pressure though to tie, so he could still have, well, we will see.
Good solid par. It's all you could really hope for at 17, I think. Yeah, he's had a couple of tricky putts. The 18th was a real difficult putt to hole. Number 1 the same. Went the opposite way to the way he thought. Longer putt for birdie at 2. Now this one, I guess about 8 feet. As they make their track now, Ernie Els one back of Todd Hamilton. You're disappointed with the tee shot there, just didn't get it to feed in on the breeze. As you said, Nick, probably caught between 2 shots.
Yeah, oh, and Ernie's cross. There's the first time we see Ernie with a bit of emotion. But, 4 at the last, 4s and 3s and 5s. Wow, everything's possible, isn't it?
I'm just thinking as they start this long walk, guys, tell me when you last heard this. They come to the 18th and Hamilton's 1 ahead of Els.
Yeah, about 35 minutes ago, was it, or something?
It's about an hour. It's been a long but great day. Just after 7 o'clock here on the Ayrshire coast in the west of Scotland. Michael Douglas and Friends, presented by Lexus. More golf comes your way next on ABC, and then ESPN's Great Outdoor Games number 5, presented by Dodge. That's from Madison, Wisconsin. So that's the lineup for the rest of the day here on ABC Sports. Into our 6th hour of this exciting Open Championship finish. We hadn't seen, as we go back through the history of these playoffs, the players match score for the first 3 holes. And there is Alex Harvey, the 79-year-old man who has carved in Royal Troon in the year and the number of strokes. Remember back in 1999 when they started to carve Jean Van de Velde's name in? And we had a little correction as Van de Velde made the 7, got into one of these playoffs with Justin Leonard and the eventual champ Paul Lawrie. Lawrie hit a great shot there in the last couple of holes coming in. As we watch this playoff, I'm reminded of similarities to Royal Birkdale in '98 when it was Brian Watts against Mark O'Mara. O'Mara was in the great run. He won the Masters earlier in the year. Not the player of Ernie Els' stature in terms of being at the top of the world rankings, but Brian Watts had played the Asian Tour, couldn't find a spot on the PGA Tour through the qualifying school, and he was, for the most part, very similar in age and also where they played college golf. Because, man, you're looking at Todd Hamilton was at Oklahoma. Brian Watts was at Oklahoma State. And, as a matter of fact, they got to know each other at that time, playing in what was then the Big Eight. And Hamilton called Brian Watts on the night before the final round at Birkdale in '98. And had a little bit of thoughts and advice, just a conversation there. And I'm sure Brian Watts is somewhere watching his buddy now. A couple of clubs came to the tee, and the iron stayed in the hand.
Yeah, check the wind out. The breeze has just picked up a smidgen again. Good play, iron, really. The #1 rule is hit that short grass down the middle of the fairway. Anything on the fairway in the short grass is great. Must be pretty chilly out there as well, but they won't be thinking any of that. Keep the same routine going.
And you see the total, 11 for Hamilton, 12 for Eltz. Now the mindset's match play. Have the hole, champion golfer of the year.
Back to the same. So that's fine. That's a tight lie. Far better than the lie he had before. He'll take that one.
And an optional drop if he wants to take it from the walkway.
Exactly. He wants to come back.
Clearly hit a pretty short club. That ball didn't even carry out of the rough.
Hey, Judy, I have not seen many balls come to rest in that crosswalk here during the week.
He will have quite a long second shot.
He actually had 3 clubs there. He had that utility wood as well as the driver.
If we all grab the yardage book quickly to see where he is.
Here's Ernie now.
Yeah, there's a sprinkler at 195 down there somewhere. To the front, that will be. Ernie glasses it again onto the soft spot this time.
Perfect.
In his lie.
Well, this shot that he has played pretty well all day, where he starts it left and lets it ride the wind, looks like the one he will call on. This is just a 5-iron.
Wow.
Just clears those bunkers when it comes to a stop.
Definitely. Well, I think the 4 was the one. Obviously, we can see that after the event, but that was very dangerous. Especially of such a tight lie, the ball will not fly as far.
I think the tight lie was a big factor. You're absolutely right.
And decent walk up there for everybody to get to Ernie's tee shot.
190 for Ernie Els.
6 or 7 iron for Ernie, I would think.
It is a 6-iron, Ian.
Well, the practice swing looks like he's going to cut it in there.
Just said to Ricky, thought it might have been 7.
I'll be surprised. He knows it will stop.
Now I do. It's going to move down. Oh, just come here. Nice and soft.
He trails by 1.
It's a beautiful shot.
It's got potential.
And it's that one club. Whoa. It's got the same putt a little bit longer. Tough putt. He definitely was. Both of them could have done with 1 club more.
Well, you mentioned that it did get cooler once the sun went behind the clouds, and you can feel it, especially at this time of night. It's 20 after 7 local time. And the cooler it gets, and we've experienced players over the years finishing those Thursday and Friday rounds at 8 or 9 o'clock local time. You really do have to add a club at those points.
Yeah.
It just gets cooler quicker.
What makes it tougher there, though, is that just 20 paces behind the hole is out of bounds.
Well, I'll let you enjoy the walk up one more time. Ernie's not just one of the most popular players in the world. He's an Open champion. And the two guys on either side of me know that the roar for an Open champion, if you walk in the building in Scotland, it's just different. Hey, these two guys got this little grin on their face. They've heard it. They know it. Go check into a hotel or go to a restaurant or a pub with Baker Finch or a Faldo or a Norman or an Ernie Els or even a Ben Curtis now. It's just people stop.
You don't have to buy too many.
Yeah, that always helps, doesn't it? That's our little perk.
Yeah, just free golf and free beers.
Free beers, maybe a free dinner.
This will be Hamilton's third.
Is he going to? Yes, he's going for the safety utility club. Just bumble it up there. Very sensible play. At least it guarantees no spin onto the ball. You know, it's all he's got to do is get that good tempo and get that thing up pin high. Have a good look at that break, though, Todd. There's a bit more. If you can hang that on the high side, you do be doing great.
21 paces of green, and he took 15 steps from the edge of the green back to the ball.
And if you haven't been with us all day, this has been his play around the green, except for when he holds his chip at 14. He leads by 1.
Hasn't got it hard enough. Oh, no, he has.
Come on, come on.
That's fantastic. Wow, there it is.
I think I saw about another million of those utility clubs coming on there.
His wife is here and watching. You saw her inside the ropes getting a view. And Judy mentioned Ernie's wife, Liesel. And Todd's mom is here. She's with the 3 young children that they have. And we mentioned his dad, Kent, who's back home. Kent had his golf game with his buddies earlier this week, lost a quarter. He's down $1.50 for the year, but the losers pay and the winners buy the beer. I think Kent might get to buy some beverages for the boys. If his son can close the deal here, but we've got more drama with Ernie now.
We got a quick glimpse of Ernie's face, and there was an awful lot of concern on his face there. He's faced his putt before. He knows he's got to make a great stroke at it. There's a lot more break there. He's got to be aggressive. That will be the hardest thing, is to simply get a good stroke going, get this thing on the line, and get it past the hole. I mean, that's his #1 goal. Hit the back of the hole.
I'm just thinking of Ernie. Augusta so close. U.S. Open, that face of frustration when it didn't go right on Sunday in the last group.
We had a bunch of those with Tiger in year 2000.
That's right.
So this... He's got it high enough, but not... Oh, that was a brave effort, but that slope just got him. So Todd's going to face 3 feet to be the champion golfer of the year.
The disappointment there shows in his face. He's had so many seconds in majors. And it looks like another one.
On the 9-hole course in Illinois, Biggsville, Illinois, Henco Hills, where Todd Hamilton learned how to play. Late at night, he had a bunch of these. This little short putt to win a major. Now in the gloaming, late on a Sunday night in Scotland, he has this putt to win the Open Championship.
Nice time for a plane.
And he's done it. Another American Cinderella story. Todd Hamilton, champion golfer 2004.
Fantastic stuff. What a story.